Here. Great to have you joining me this fine morning. Hope you're doing well. And today's kind of a fun little one to talk about, which is this idea of the world is quirky, that the world is quirky, and I sort of want to be a little embracing of quirkiness this morning. So the way this story has gone, we've been looking at the story of creation, and we're at a point in the story now where all of a sudden the earth starts to get populated with animals and the seas start to get populated with fish. All of a sudden there's like this explosion of life. A living soul begins to erupt. And that's a beautiful part, right, in our life. And again, this is what God is doing with our lives over time. And we may not always feel it. We may not always feel like our lives are alive, quote unquote, at any given moment. But this is kind of the long-term view of what God's providence is kind of pulling us towards. And this is a beautiful stage where all of a sudden things start to grow. And it's a fascinating piece because again, it's been so much fun doing this with you folks and doing it slowly like we have been. I know there's been a lot of times where I've read stuff getting ready for this, like, oh, I never saw it that way. And if we weren't going slow, I wouldn't have. And there was one of those going slow led to this insight moments a couple of days ago that I wanted to talk about today, which is that so much of this growth is in the plural. It's about plants, animals, fishes, it's about all these things, sort of this plurality, this explosion. And one of the bits I wanted to talk about today is that, yeah, that happens within us. All of a sudden, like life starts to expand. We start to see connections. We start to meet today. You might hear people talk about being in the flow. We might have those flow moments. And a key to it, I think, is this, is that it's not just our plurality, it's everybody's plurality. All of a sudden we start to see, I mean, part of it, yes, within us, and start, and I don't know if I'm a great language for this or not, but part of it's also starting to see the plurality that's out there, all the beautiful things that people just love. And there's so many quirky ones. And I think our job is to really look at that and to start to celebrate that as part of creation too. So in other words, we see our lives start to do this. And then that kind of meets the world that's doing this as well, where we see just people really who come alive over goofy little strange things. And that's the world that's filled with quirkiness. Like the world is quirky. And we get a chance to embrace that and really enjoy it with other people. One of the ones, and I've told this story to several folks before, that I found particularly fun was, many one of my quirky little things is I like going to auctions on my day off and just doing that. And I was at an auction and there was somebody there. It was a big auction actually, and there was somebody there in a state, and the guy was this avid ice cream scoop collector. And he literally had hundreds of ice cream scoops, and including some that were obviously the holy grail of ice cream scoop collecting. And like, who knew that there were people out there who did that? I know there are people out there, for example, who collect flashlights or or all kinds of amazing stuff like that. And I think so much of coming alive is starting to see where other people come alive as well. Now, it doesn't sort of short circuit faith. Like, we want to put that all within the context of meaning. I mean, if our life is all about ice cream scoops, I don't think that's exactly what God's talking about here. But I think those things where we see folks come alive, we can just enjoy it, folks. Somebody was mentioning to me, we live here in Bernathen, Pennsylvania, just in the southeast corner of the state. And somebody was mentioning to me this big local Dungeons and Dragons festival they had this past weekend, and I've never done that stuff. It's just not my thing. But I'm really glad that these people found it and that they love it. And if I had one of our kids loved it, more power to them. Folks, there's a way when we just start to really embrace the quirkiness of life. And I was listening to Kate Ballard on this, and this is something I'm going to pick up on actually on Sunday service. Kate Ballard's amazing, amazing theologian. And she said, I've just fallen in love with watching people try. And I thought, that's so good. Just watching people try to find their place in the world, just just cheering them on, whatever that little thing might be, just saying, "You go," like enjoy that. Because obviously that's part of something that's growing on their heart, plants, animals, fishes, all that stuff. Maybe it's part where they find their passion. We're going to be talking about passion tomorrow. And we can sort of embrace those little quirky things and just think, yeah, and that there's the work of God as well. And when we do that, folks, it puts us in a more loving place. This is a piece from New Church Theology that I love, and I just thought I'd read it to close today. Faith is more than knowledge, an acknowledgement of all that is encompassed in the teachings on faith. Faith, first and foremost, faith is obedience to everything that it teaches. Now listen to this. So it's saying faith is not about like a head thing. It's about what's taught. What's the big point? And this is goes on to say the primary thing faith teaches and requires is our obedience to love. Is our obedience to love God and other people. Obedience to love. And loving God, loving other people in a Christian New Church perspective, those are one and the same. You want to love God, love other people. You want to love other people. That's how you love God. That's the primary point of faith, is that obedience, like that commitment to love. And that commitment to love, today I just ask us to think about it. A commitment to love is at times embracing quirkiness, our own little quirky habits and little quirky things that we enjoy off on the side, and as well as enjoying the quirkiness of other people and finding that sort of a celebration of the very diversity of life and how that looks. So hopefully that all makes sense, folks, and just enjoy enjoy watching people in their elements today. So with that, friends, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little moment here for a little meditation, followed by a prayer, followed by a blessing. When that's all over, if you'd like to leave a comment on New Church Live's Facebook page, I will be reading those. A quick note is I do notice that Facebook doesn't always, the comments don't always show up right away. Oftentimes I'll go back through and I'll see people who commented, and I will have missed saying hello to them or missed responding. I'll do that in writing. And my apologies. It's just some weird little technological glitch that's keeping that from happening. So with that, friends, let's all get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and bring you peace and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a quick cheery hello to those who were able to join us this fine morning. And again, you can leave a comment on New Church Live's Facebook page. And let's take a look what people have to say here this morning. All right. Marianne, hello to you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Sherry down there in Tennessee, a little chilly, I see. It's actually kind of nice here. Patricia, great to see you joining us this morning. And George, I'm sure you're not chilly. You're in much warmer climes than we are. Uh, Maybe there's something to be said for those who appreciate that which delivers the ice cream as much as the ice cream. Brandon, that's like a little word of wisdom there. It was really fun. I was thinking too, Brandon, I should have mentioned this, like watching the Winter Olympics and watching curling. Like really? Like curling? Like how does that work? That is as quirky as the day is long. But I love it. I just love that these people, like, it means a ton to them. And you just got to love that about the human condition. Very true. Susan, good morning to you, my friend. Marcus, lean in and listen carefully to love. It's the voice of God. So true. The word, here's a little geeky word thing for you folks that I just love, which is the word obedience. Obedire means to hear, to lean in and listen. So when God is asking for obedience, he's asking us to actually lean in and listen, which I love. Love is the primary point to life, the way to God's heart. It's so true, and that's where we start to see how that flow works. Yeah, to know God better is to love everything. It's so true, and it's just like when we really, I like the phrase, right? Fall in love, because literally, I think we start to fall in love, like the soup. Start to fall into that water, and then and then again, like as I quoted a few weeks ago from Thomas Merton, the gate of heaven is everywhere. We really do start to see that. Uh, Carl writes, commitment to love, yes, an outstanding goal, and it is an outstanding goal, and that's the whole point of faith. That's the whole point. Ready for this? It's the whole point of church. It's the whole point of being in a synagogue or a mosque. It's the whole point of being human. And I would just leave you folks on this would be find those things that actually help you to do that. What are those things that help you just to live towards that goal of falling in to love? That's a big one. All right, dear friends. Well, wishing you all the best. Have a great day, and yeah, just enjoy watching people try. We watch them connect and enjoy, the quirkiness, the beautiful quirkiness of our world. Take care. Bye bye.